Hey everyone, this video includes 7 different exercises that you can use to warm up your shoulders. All you will need is a band of some sort. So I have what used to be a loop band, but I've cut it so now it's a straight band. So I can either use single-sided or I can double it to increase my tension. If you have a regular TheraBand, all that you'll need is for it to be long enough that you can hold it in a wide grip. So these exercises are great for warm-up, but I also include these oftentimes in my cool down just to reset my shoulders. Many of them are single-sided, so it's really great to help promote balance from right to left. I would suggest doing between 8 and 10 reps of each exercise, and you're welcome to go through more than one round depending on how warm your shoulders feel. So let's get started. We're going to start with a couple of basics. So these are internal and external rotations. I have my band secured at one end. The first exercise we'll do is the internal rotation. So I'm going to work with my inside arm. I'm going to wrap that band around so I have a nice secure grip. The arm is at 90 degrees. The elbow can be just slightly away from the side of the body. And rotating from the shoulder, I want to pull that arm across my belly. One thing I'm looking for is that I don't rotate and recruit a whole bunch of other muscles to do the job. If you feel like the only way you're able to pull that band in is by rotating, then you need a bit more slack in your band. So step in just a little bit closer and try to isolate this movement coming from the shoulder. Then we move to external rotation. So this is working with the outside arm. Generally, we need a bit more slack for this one. So I'm going to step in a little bit closer. I'm going to rotate that band around my hand for a secure grip. For this one, I like to work palm facing up. It just encourages a little more external rotation at that shoulder. So keeping the arm at 90, elbow just off your side, you're rotating out. If you find with this one that as you rotate out, the tension of the band stops you before you hit your full range of motion, then it's time to step in a little closer, give yourself a little more slack. One thing to watch during this exercise is not straightening the arm away from you. We want to maintain that 90-degree angle and let that rotation come from the shoulder. This next exercise is called a dislocate. Now, don't let the name intimidate you. You've probably seen these done before, either using a dowel or a stick of some sort, but today we're going to be using the band because it does add an extra element. So the basic movement, I want to have my hands a little wider than shoulder width on this band. My tailbone's tucked under, my ribs are pressed down, and I'm going to lift my arms. As they come close to my ears, I'm going to elevate my shoulders a little bit to make some space to clear through. And then I want to come all the way back again. If I find this really easy, I can begin to narrow my hands. This will increase the stretch and the challenge in this one. Now, if as you narrow the hands, you start to notice either your elbows bending or one arm going through before the other, that's a sign it's time to go wider again. So if you feel like you have to bend the elbows to bring them through, or your arms are straight but one arm goes through before the other, that's a break in form. So go wider with those arms. Try to bring them straight and through at the same time. This next exercise is diagonal pull-aparts. This is one of my favorites to use during a warm-up. So you're going to have one hand and it's going to stay glued to your hip. The palm is going to be forward on that arm. The other hand will start at that arm, but pull up and away at 45 degrees. So when I get to the peak of my pull, I want both of my palms facing forward. So I'm going up and down. Once I've completed the upward direction, I can reverse it. So I can keep the top arm still and pull down and away with the bottom hand. For both of these motions, just make sure you're keeping those ribs pressed down, the tailbone slightly tucked under so the core is tight. There is a third variation of this one that I enjoy doing as well, which is having the band at shoulder height. So both hands, palms facing in, are at the height of my shoulders, and I'm just going to pull away, squeezing my shoulder blades together and back. Next, we are working cross-body punches. So I'm working with the inside arm on this one. Feet set shoulder width apart or so. Toes are facing forward. I'm going to wrap that band around the inside hand. The arm is going to start at 90 degrees. I can have that palm in a fist. And I'm going to turn and punch across my body. So my feet don't move. I'm rotating through my core and pressing through my arm. Once you're comfortable with this basic movement, then we can add a little extra activation on the end of it when your arm is straight. So once I reach this position, my thumb is up to the ceiling, I want you to think of bringing your shoulder blade forward and around the bend just a little bit more to extend the arm. This is protraction of the shoulder when the shoulder blades spread wide. And it's going to access some muscles just under here called your serratus anterior that help control your shoulder blade positioning. This next exercise is a single arm row. If you have a long enough band, you can absolutely do this with both arms at the same time. Sometimes it's nice though to separate right and left to see if one arm activates better than the other arm, and then you can try to balance out the strength between the two. So for this one, I'm facing the band where it's attached. Again, I'm wrapping that band around my hand. My first action is going to be squeezing my shoulder blades back and down. And then I'm going to pull, rotating my palm to the ceiling and back out again. Shoulder blades back and down. Pull so my hand comes to my waist and release. If you need to increase the challenge on this one, just wrap your hand around a little bit more or grab closer to the point where you're connected and you'll get a little extra tension so you can make those muscles work just a bit harder. This last exercise is a little more of a complex movement. This one is really great for any of my circus people or my calisthenics people who have ever tried to work meat hooks before this. So I'm going to use my left hand wrapped around the band. I'm going to rotate my thumb in towards my body so that the back of my hand is against the opposite side of my hip. Okay? My left arm is wrapped, so my left leg is going to be forward. In this position, when you start, the band is going to be trying to pull that shoulder back. I want you to roll it forward and down. So this is protraction and depression. So if you've ever tried to do a reverse meat hook, this is where the magic is at. All right, from this position, I'm going to slowly externally rotate that shoulder, straighten the arm out to the side, the palm is forward. You're going to sweep that arm overhead. The arm comes in front of your face, the band stays behind. And then I'm going to pull that shoulder blade back and down as I connect this elbow to this hip. And then sweep it back. So protracted and depressed here. And then retracted and depressed when the arm is in front of me. So regular meat hook, reverse meat hook. For most people, the sticky spot in this exercise is when that arm is passing overhead. If there's too much tension on the band, it can feel painful if you have any mobility restrictions in your shoulder. So the solution to this is this bent leg. So when I'm here, I can lunge into this leg, which increases the tension in the band. Okay, and I may want it right now. But as I start to bring the arm overhead, if I need more slack, I can stand up through that front leg to allow me to pass over and then lunge again to increase the tension as I'm in this arm below my shoulder position. Okay, so standing during the overhead pass for slack, and then lunging to create tension again.